This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Hey, what's up, everybody? And I hope you celebrated safely your New Year's Eve. And now you're up early in the morning for another Q video because we're back in business talking about the Cleveland Browns. But again, want to make sure everybody's safe. Give a couple pro tips for those of you who may or may not be hungover. And look, these are good pro tips. I learned these in college. So first and foremost, I know it's early. Your head might be hurting. First things first, get you a Powerade or Gatorade, something with some nutrients in it, and some grapes or watermelon, any type of fruit that has a lot of water in it. Strawberries, whatever you like. If you like melons, whatever it is, like just get a fruit that has a ton of water in it, because what a hangover is your body needing more nutrients. So what you need to do to cure the hangover is put more nutrients into your body. This is what a nutritionist told me. It has worked my entire drinking life. So if that is what's happened to you, get some nutrients in. You could do that with some Powerade. You could do it with the Body Armor. You could do it with the Boathouse. You could do it with some grapes, some strawberries, some watermelons, all of this stuff. Anything that has a lot of water and nutrients will be good for you in that situation. And I say that to all of you because I want y'all to be in a good mind when we talk about what my New Year's resolutions are going to be for these Cleveland Browns of 2024 are gonna be. And not just the Browns of 2024. We're not talking about next year. We talking about playoff football in Cleveland, man. We are talking about this second time in Kevin Stefanski's career. We are talking about real ball here. So let's get into it, man. I'm gonna start with offense, defense, and I'm gonna try to trickle down to special teams. My first set of resolutions are gonna be for the offense. First things first, got to turn down the turnovers. Now, Joe Flacco has done a good job of turning down the turnovers over the last couple of games. Unfortunately, the rest of the offense hasn't followed. I think we had like 4 fumbles on Thursday Night Football. We just find ways to turn the ball over offensively. We got to put a cap on it. And it might not cost you in the first round. It might cost you, because if you do play the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence is having a good game, or you do play the Colts and Shane Steichen's calling up a great game similar to what he did the last time we played him, or you do play CJ Stroud and CJ Stroud's out there balling, well, then you got a problem. So, got to turn down the turnovers. It's been one thing to get away with it against some of these opponents that you played over the last few weeks, but just like in the Denver game, just like in the Rams game, when you're playing those level of teams, those turnovers will hurt you. I don't even want to get started about what happens if you play Buffalo or Baltimore or Miami in the second round or Kansas City. I don't even want to start to think about that kind of thing if we can't turn down the turnovers right now and chill on that. So we got to turn down the turnovers. That's first things first. It's the first thing that the Browns need to do offensively. Second thing they need to do is find a way for them to get rhythm in the run game. The Browns have a really good run scheme. They have some good run blockers left in Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, and Ethan Posick. It makes no sense that we can't consistently run the ball. And what makes even less sense is that there are weeks where we can run the ball and weeks where we can't. And it has nothing to do with the run defenses we are playing. We play Baltimore, we can run the ball. We play the Broncos, we can run the ball. We play the Jaguars, we can't run the ball. Or that's a bad example, because the Jaguars are a good run defense because they are such a poor passing defense. But you'll play teams that are average in run defense. You won't be able to run the ball against them, but you can run the ball against Pittsburgh or something random like that. It's because of the lack of rhythm in the run game. And what I mean by rhythm is, when are guys getting to their assignments? Are guys getting to their assignments on time? Or are guys getting taken off of their assignments because other people aren't on time? The run game, especially for the Cleveland Browns, who like to pull guys a lot and like to move guys around from guard to pull and tackle to pull, all this stuff that the Browns like to do, that makes their run game some of the hardest stuff to prepare for and allows them to have success running against 8-man boxes for the last 3 years. A lot of that requires a lot of rhythm. And when you're out of rhythm in the run game, it doesn't matter who you're playing, you're not going to be successful. I can go through and show you a cut down of 20 plays in the last 4 weeks where I could tell you exactly why the Browns haven't been able to run the football. And it's because, Wyatt got there early, or Joel got there late, or maybe Ethan got there early, missed his block, and now Joel is late. It's always something like that that's going on with the run game. It's not necessarily the running backs picking the wrong holes or the running backs not being fast enough to get to these spots. That's rarely the case. I don't think this is a running back issue. I think this is an issue with consistently getting rhythm on the offensive line when blocking for these run plays. And I think if you brought Bill Callahan up to the stands and asked him this, he would agree with me and say, yes, it's about the rhythm of the run game right now. We just aren't finding consistent rhythm. It's not even about level of talent. I don't think Garyon Christian and James Hudson are so bad that you can't run the ball with them. I think they're fine enough. James Hudson is preferably a run blocker, so he's not been horrible in this sense. It's been the collective lack of finding its rhythm with the entire offensive line with these plays for whatever reason. And sometimes this happens with offensive lines where some years the music's on point and some years it's not. This has been a big problem for the Browns offensive line, is finding that consistent rhythm in the run game. Now, it's not all negative resolutions. There's some positive things that we want to keep going. And what we do want to keep going is everything going on with the passing offense. In the last few weeks, we've seen career high days from David Njoku and Amari Cooper. We've seen team high days from Amari Cooper, right? And that is exactly what you need to have going forward. The Browns, with Joe Flacco, have been able to make sure that David Njoku is the weapon that he is, that Amari Cooper is the weapon that he is, and Elijah Moore plays a pretty critical part to all of this that I don't think gets enough attention or enough love. But I know there's some people who look at Elijah Moore's total numbers and think, hey, he's kind of been a disappointment. In my opinion, he's met expectation. I think Elijah Moore has fell well within expectation. I believe he was at 600 yards was the expectation for him coming into the season, the very minimum. He will play 2 less games and be at that number already. I think Elijah Moore has been exactly what you wanted out of him, especially in year one. And I think he plays a pivotal role to this offense. So I think it's going to be very important for him to get back because he is the third option. And when teams are going to try to cover Amari Cooper as hard as possible, try to cover David Njoku as much as possible, getting to Elijah Moore is going to be important. Now, one good thing that's come out of this weekend, no, the Browns don't have the ability to play for the 1 seed, but the way that this can be a blessing in disguise is if you can get Amari Cooper as healthy as possible so he can make it through a full run in the playoffs, hopefully. If you can make sure that you get Elijah Moore back, because now it's going to be 17 days to recover from a concussion. It's a very reasonable time frame for a player to recover from a concussion. It was a very serious concussion that Elijah Moore had, but we've seen guys come back from serious concussions in that time frame. It does allow you offensively, right, to just rest some of these guys in the interior of the offensive line that struggled all year, that have had these nagging injuries, to kind of get them as healthy as possible, to find some rhythm in that run game next in this next part of the season that you're going into, the postseason, and getting guys healthy. So the Browns taking care of business. And that's the thing I like the most about this team this year, is that they've taken care of business. Even in 2020, when they had the chance to clinch, they lost that game because they had a bunch of things pop up. This year, they had a bunch of things pop up, still took care of business. That's why this Browns team, we feel so much different about it than in years past, because this is not just a Browns team that's won 11 games. This is not just a Browns team that's made the playoffs. This is a Browns team that every week it's been asked of them They have taken care of business. Oh, you're coming out the bye week. You're 2-2, and you're playing your toughest opponent of the year in the San Francisco 49ers. The season's going to be over when you lose this game. Remember 2019, Quincy, when we were 2-2 and we played the San Francisco 49ers and they beat us and then our season died? This is going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. Remember all of that? Browns came out with PJ Walker and took care of business. I can go down the list. Oh, DTR's got to start versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. No problem. We're going to take care of business. Oh, we got to play the Baltimore Ravens on the road. Okay, Deshaun going to go 14-14. We're going to take care of business. The Browns have taken care of business all year. That's why they have this opportunity to rest. And that's why we feel so good about this team, because this isn't just a good team. This is a team that we have seen when given the opportunity to take care of business, they have taken care of business almost every time they've been asked. That's why we feel better. So another resolution, keep that same energy in 2024. Keep taking care of business. I don't care what the excuses is. I don't care what the injuries are. Take care of business. If you're expected to do something, follow through, do it. That's what the Cleveland Browns need to do. Defensively, what do the Browns need to do in 2024? One, more turnovers. And when I say more turnovers for the defense, I'm not saying more turnovers for the defensive line. The defensive line is going to get what they can get. But now that teams are pretty much committed to throwing the ball in 2 seconds or less versus the Cleveland Browns because of the presence of Myles Garrett, that means defensive backs have more opportunities to hop routes and get turnovers, and you're starting to see that because teams are just scared to death to throw it down the field on the Cleveland Browns. So let's take advantage of that. Let's get some more turnovers. Let's do whatever we can to get Myles Garrett to 16 sacks and make sure that he wins Defensive Player of the Year this year, because if anybody deserves it, it's him. He's been the best player in the NFL. He's been the most adjusted to player in the NFL, most double team player in the NFL. Nobody terrifies his other team's offenses like Myles Garrett, and he's on the best defense. He's the best player on the best defense. He's the Defensive Player of the Year. So let's get him the arbitrary sack numbers or whatever he needs to make sure he gets there, even though his impact is much larger than just getting 16 sacks. We all know this. Anybody who watches in good faith knows this is about Myles Garrett. But, let's just take that off the board, right? But that's my New Year's resolution for the Cleveland Browns. Let me know what yours are in the comment section down below. Everybody have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.